Alexander Pichushkin shared a two-bedroom apartment in Moscow with his mother, a half-sister, brother-in-law, and a nephew near the north end of Bitsa Park. He was a smart social kid until he suffered a fairly serious head injury while playing on swings. After the accident, he became a hostile and impulsive child who just had trouble regulating his behavior. His grandfather tried to help him by taking him in and encouraging him to pursue hobbies and intellectual activities outside of his school. And one of the things he took up and spent a lot of time on was chess. He spent many hours in Bitsa Park playing chess with others and usually winning. Unfortunately, his grandfather died while he was still a teen, and Petushkin took up drinking to cope. He still played chess in the park, but he also started drinking in the park. He took up another darker hobby as well. He carried a video camera whenever he was around kids, and then he would threaten the kids on camera and then proceed to watch the videos over and over. In one case, he hung a boy out a window by one leg and threatened to drop the boy to his death. Apparently, it soothed his aggression, but not for that long. Petushkin, despite being bullied by most kids, had a best friend named Mikhail Odachuk. The two of them planned to kill 64 people, one for every square on a chessboard, so they decide to meet up in Bitsa Park to work out a plan to get it done. Odachuk, though, either did not take Petushkin seriously, or he changed his mind about wanting to be involved. But he let Petushkin know he wanted no part of the plan. And Petushkin was not happy about that. He strangled his friend and threw his body in a sewer entrance in the park. The body was never found. It was 1992, and the 18-year-old would just commit his first murder. Police investigated the disappearance, but they had no evidence to charge Petushkin with anything. The young man had been spotted together on the day of his disappearance, but Petushkin would say he left Odachuk just fine in the park. The case went unsolved until 2006. And as far as we know, he didn't kill again until May 2001. He's in his early 30s by then and still drinking vodka and playing chess in Bitsa Park. From May 2001 to September 2005, he attacked an estimated 36 victims, and only 3 of those would survive. Most of these attacks were the same. He would convince his victim to walk in the park with him to a bit of an isolated area. Sometimes he would tell them he wanted to see his dead dog's grave. Sometimes he would say he just wanted to walk. He would almost always have a bottle of vodka with him, and sometimes a hammer. He would choose a spot, pull out the vodka, and offer the other person a drink. The victim would then be hit in the head from behind with the bottle or the hammer. Once dead, they would usually be dumped into water, a well, or the sewage canal. Sometimes, if they weren't dead when thrown in, they drowned. Occasionally during this period, he impaled the skull with bottle or sticks, a sort of morbid signature. Most of the victims were elderly, most were homeless. For many, no one noticed they had even gone missing. He would kill at least 10 more people between October 2005 through June 2006. He changed his modus operandi slightly in that period, exclusively killing from behind with the hammer and then inserting a vodka bottle into the wounded skulls. Many of these victims were neighbors of his in his apartment complex, so he moves from homeless people to his neighbors. He left many of these bodies out in the open in the park. He asked a coworker, 36-year-old Marina Muskalova, to go for a walk with him in the park in June 2006. She was kind of wary of him and left a note for her son telling him where she was going, who she was with, and even leaving Petushkin's phone number. Her body would be found in Bitsa Park on June 14th, marked with the same signature Petushkin had been using on his other victims. When authorities traced her movements, they found video video of Moskolova and Petrushkin in the subway together hours before she died. They learned of the note as well, and so they finally arrest Petrushkin. Of this, Petrushkin would say that he allowed himself to be burned so that police could never take credit for catching him. But this time there would be no "I left him just fine in the park" excuse. Instead, Petrushkin led police to the scenes of most of his crimes, describing most of them in gruesome detail. They had him film reenactments of most of the murders, which was a thing that was often done by Russian police authorities. As to motive, he would tell authorities that killing made him feel powerful, made him want to live. He would say he couldn't live without killing, just like people cannot live without food. Allegedly, he kept track of each murder on a chessboard. He said that he wanted to kill 64 to match the squares, but he later recanted that and said he would have just gone on killing indefinitely had he not been caught. His victims were almost all men, but there were also 3 women. He was convicted of 49 of a suspected 60 or more murders and 3 attempted murders. He actually asked the court to tack on 11 murder convictions to round the number out to 60. He also said he wanted to be charged with the 63 murders he confessed to, and not just the 49 where they had a confession and some evidence. When the judge tried to stop him from testifying about the other 11 murders because they weren't part of the trial, Petrushkin would say, quote, "What, they don't interest you? I thought it would be unfair to forget about the others," end quote. The media would speculate that he was in some sort of sick competition with Andrei Chikatilo and wanted to be sure to be convicted of more murders than the previous serial killer. He would be sentenced to life with solitary confinement for the first 15 years. He appealed that sentence as too harsh, but his appeal was denied. Russia housed him in a penal colony in the Russian Arctic called Polar Owl, where he has now served the 15-year solitary confinement portion of his sentence. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying these videos and want more, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.